All right, making the treads. The way to get this thing flat on both sides is you want to draw your line on one side on where you want it to be halfway through. And then what I do is I take a level like this and I screw in a 2x4 on this side and I put the level and I get the level to where it is perpendicular straight up and down. And once I know this side is straight up and down, then what I can do is I can come over to the other side, and let's say that this thing hadn't been installed yet, and then all I got to do is pick a line right in the middle and draw a straight line across this side completely with the level straight up and down, and that way it's going to meet and match the other side. Then I grab a 2x4, I draw my line, I screw this thing right up against the line, and then for me, I'm taking a 2x4 up on top of this thing, which will give me a nice straight line that I can follow my saw on to get started. And I'm going to cut this tread next. All right, so once you've got this jig set up, you're going to take your chainsaw and you're going to run that chainsaw right parallel with that 2x4 as your guide. And you're going to come in here and you're going to cut a line right down the guide across the top of this log. And then once you've got a guideline, then all you're going to do is you're going to keep cutting, and you're going to cut about an inch or two at a time, just coming back like this, and you'll just keep using the tip of the chainsaw to cut an inch or two, and you'll just keep going and going and going. And what it does is it keeps it nice and straight, and it also uses less gas, and you can mill the log that way. All right, we've cut down our stringers, and I've already hand scraped one of these things, or at least debarked it, hand scraped it, and sanded it. That's what this one looks like right here, all the way down. You can see, if you get close to it, you can see the hand scrapings and the different notches through it, the unevenness. That's the look I'm going for. So then we've got this stringer over here that I cut down. The first thing you have to do is you got to debark it. And that's what I'm going to be doing right now to get the bark off. What I've got is I've got this spade, and I've basically carved and sharpened the tip of the spade. And then you use the tip of the spade to peel off the bark like that. Two hands goes a little bit easier, but like that. Just chipping it all the way off. So we're going to debark this whole log. And after we've debarked it, then we're going to go ahead and scrape it down. Next up, once you've got all this bark off of it, you want to be able to peel the log. And there's these big draw knives, and they work good, but they take a lot of effort. I'll show you. Take it like this. Like that. Go all the way down the log, get it peeled all the way down, and it is a lot of work. Or you can get one of these blades. Let me show you. This blade hooks onto the grinder. What it does is it just rips the heck out of it. You got to be very careful. I'm wearing Kevlar pants, so I don't hit my leg and cut into me. It kicks up a lot of dust, so you want to have a respirator or a dust mask, and it's loud. You want to cover your eyes. So we get this on.
I'll show you how that works.
This machine rips it so well that even these big knots in these branches, you don't need to take a chainsaw to cut them off. You just take this grinder and just gouge them to take a few strips. And just pull this grinder down one after another, and it leaves a nice, like, carved look to it, like a draw knife does, without all the work. The logs are peeled, and now I'm setting it up to where I can cut the angle that the log is going to lean against the house. And what you want to do is I've measured the exact angle onto this 2x6 and cut it right across here. And then I've taken this 2x6 and I've lined it up straight on top of this log. And then I've taken a level, I've leveled it exactly flat. And so now what I'm going to do for this end of the log, I'm going to take my chainsaw and I can use that angle right there as a jig, and then I cut straight down through the log, and that'll give me the exact angle for that log to lean up against the house. All right, just finished the cut with a chainsaw. I followed this jig exactly. You can see that straight on with it, going right along the edge. And I cut straight down through the log, and I've got the perfect angle on my log. Got this jig set up right here. I'm gonna make the cut for the bottom. What I want to do next is get the stringers set up in the exact angle that they're going to be in the house, so we can start setting the steps on them and scribing them. And what you want to do is you want to lean these things up against a wall. And the way I did is I've taken my engine lift, which you can see right in front of me, the hoist, and I just picked a point approximately a little bit more than halfway up the log, chained it up, and then I can just literally lift the log up with the hoist into place. And then what I'm doing is securing it to the wall by drilling a 2x4 or 2x6 in the end of the stringer. And then once it's in the end of the stringer, I drill a 2x6 into the wall. You can see a line right there. I've measured exactly how high it is inside. The bottom of the logs go right to that line. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. So here's my 2x6, my drill, my lag bolts, and I'm gonna lag bolt the 2x6 into the end of this one. I'm gonna push it right up to the wall, level it against that line, and then I'll drill and screw the 2x6 into the wall. And that way these stringers are secured to the wall. Down at the footings, I'm leaving those things unsecure because there's enough weight on just pushing against the wall to keep them in place.